introducing our topic on the agriculture sector and food security. Agriculture is very important because it provides the food we eat and supports the economy. It includes growing crops like rice, vegetables, and fruits, and raising animals such as sheep and cows. Agriculture also provides jobs and ensures a steady food supply throughout the year. Food security means everyone has access to enough safe, healthy, and affordable food. However, many countries face challenges like low production, extreme weather, and rising costs, which reduce local food supply and increase dependence on imports. When import costs rise or the currency weakens, food prices go up, affecting families. Therefore, strong agriculture sector helps produce enough food, reduces dependence on imports, keeps prices stable, and ensures better food security for everyone.
Agriculture is the foundation of every country's food system. A strong agriculture sector ensures stable supply, affordable price, and reliable access to essential goods. However, when local production is low, countries like Malaysia rely more on imports, which can cause higher price and even inflation. Food security depends on 4 elements, which is availability, access, stability, and utilization. In Malaysia, weak availability and stability make our agriculture system fragile. For example, if import price rise or shipping costs increase, domestic price also rise, contributing to inflation. Inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index (CPI) occurs when supply decreases but demand stays the same. Environmental disasters, wars, and higher production costs can reduce supply, while a weaker Malaysian ringgit makes import more expensive, further raising price. Low agriculture productivity is another factor. Aging farmers, small farms, old technology, and dependence on imported materials reduce local food production. As a result, Malaysia depends more on imports and food price rise, affecting households and the economy. In short, a weak agriculture system directly contributes to higher food price and economic challenges in Malaysia.
Weak agricultural productivity and low food security are major global issues that directly drive food price inflation. When farm productivity falls due to climate change, limited technology, or poor infrastructure, food supply shrinks and prices increase. Poor access to adequate and nutritious food especially harms low-income families who face a rising cost for basic necessities. Low productivity reduces crop yields and is worsened by bad roads, weak storage facilities, droughts, floods, and unstable temperatures. Without innovation, research, or modern equipment, farmers cannot improve output, causing higher market prices. As food insecurity rises, producers often sell at inflated prices. Low food security also forces countries to rely heavily on imports. This increases demands, puts pressure on global supply chains, and raises prices further, especially for staple foods like rice and corn. In Malaysia, headline inflation rose from 2.5% to 3.5% between 2021 and 2022, mainly because food inflation surged to 5.8%. Higher global prices for animal feed and fertilizers, driven by the Russia-Ukraine conflict and supply disruptions, were passed on to consumers through items like meat and eggs. Food inflation weakens purchasing power, reduces productivity, increases poverty, and can threaten economy and political stability. This shows the urgent need for stronger agriculture, better infrastructure, and policies that support food security.
Let's move into case study and finding about food price inflation caused by weak agricultural productivity and low food security. Let's begin with weak agricultural productivity and import dependency. While global shock play a role, Malaysia's food price inflation is mostly due to local farming inefficiency. Low domestic production, coupled with a heavy dependence on inputs, make the market instantly sensitive to any drop in the ringgit or rise in global commodity price. price weakness in the economy is the main reason why the local market gets affected by global inflation so quickly. The problem, Malaysia is in a position where it must rely a lot on other countries for its essential food items because it does not produce enough of them.
The scale, the food import bill of the entire nation was around RM78.8 billion in 2023.
This huge outflow of money means any rise in international commodity or shipping price is immediately absorbed by the local market. This is how we essentially import inflation.
The impact, key items like beef, mutton and fresh meat have a very low self-sufficiency ratio as are Malaysia. If external factors such as drought or export restriction in supplies country limit the supplies, Malaysia has no domestic buffer and is forced to accept the higher global price. Next, the fragile rice to oil market. The sliding price of rice in the market is primarily an inherently due to structural production deficit combined with a stiff two-tier pricing system.
Problem is, the very nature of our low domestic rice production exposes most consumers to the price shock of the international market, which can lead to a shortage.
Despite the long-term subsidies such as the RM2.6 billion provided in the 2024 budget, the national self-sufficiency ratio (SSR) for rice remains low and is around 15.2%. This structural gap result is almost 15% of the local rice consumption that need to be met through imports.
Last but not least, the chicken and egg shortage crisis. Rising input price. Worldwide happening like the Russian and Ukraine war, plus a continual decline in the Malaysian ringgit, made it very hard to get imported feed such as corn and soybean meal at reasonable price. This situation immediately set off the exchange rate pass-through (ERPT) effect, thereby increasing the cost of production for local farmers to a great extent. For price control conflict, at the same time, the government of Malaysia continued to set stringent price ceiling on chicken and eggs to entice consumers. For collapse of supplies. Many local farmers, just in order to avoid loss, decide to reduce production, stop their farm temporarily, or leave this business completely. The supply they cut down themselves led directly to widespread shortage of chicken and eggs in the whole country. Last but not least, the cause of chicken and egg shortage crisis is government action.
In June 2022,
the government banned chicken export temporarily to control the acute domestic shortage. This measure, which aimed at stabilizing the local supply, instead pointed out the fragility of a sector that is dependent on foreign input while being restricted by a domestic price cap. The crisis demonstrates that the high SSR for poverty in Malaysia is an illusion of self-sufficiency, as the entire supply chain can be made dysfunctional just because of the cost of foreign import.
Conclusion: overall, this study has revealed a close link between the food price inflation situation with agricultural productivity and the low levels of food security. When domestic demand cannot be met by the agricultural sector, the dependence of country on food import increases. This situation makes the country vulnerable toward global price fluctuations and instability of currency and disruptions regarding supply chain. Recommendations: the first one, boost agricultural productivity through modernization. The government must invest in technology for modern farming and high-quality seeds, irrigation systems, agricultural practices that are climate resilient. The second one is reduce import dependency via strategic self-sufficiency, developing strong local industries like production of rice, poultry, and vegetables. It can enable country to rely less on the import food items. The encouragement of local production through incentives, subsidies, and partnerships with private sectors can stabilize price and enhance national food sovereignty. The third one, enhance support systems for local farmers. Farmers should receive greater financial support, which includes affordable credit schemes, subsidies for fertilizers, and connected minimum pricing. Besides, improving access to markets and the facility of supply chain will also help farmers to earn fair income and reduce risk in production. The last one is strengthen and integrate food security policies. The government must review and update its policies of food security to address current challenges such as climate change, volatility of the global market, and population growth. This involves the establishment of stronger food reserve, improvement of the networks for distribution, and the ensuring of affordable pricing for essential goods.